Lakers Suns, Frank Vogel uses his challenge on the first play. I kind of like it. It was kind of a statement like, look, man, we ain't doing this. We ain't doing this. It was a Jay Crowder corner three that AD, I guess, nicked his leg. It was one of those like real close suspect calls. And Vogel was like, nah, we challenging this right now. We ain't doing this tonight. It was unsuccessful, but there was all sorts of flopping and bullshit to start this game. This game was ugly, and you're starting to see it kind of boil over here. And this is the series that's going to get chippy, and it did. And then down goes Anthony Davis. Let's call it what it is. AD was the kid in your neighborhood. When he fell down crying, everybody just kept playing because it was such a regular occurrence. He had this chase down block on Booker. He lands funny and his knee buckles. I think Anthony Davis needs to make more business decisions when it comes to protecting the rim. That's really what it comes down to. Like he just, you can't go after all of them, AD. Not at this point. You've got to, it's risk reward sometimes here. Just give up the basket. But I understand that's much easier said than done when you consider that's really what his superpower is. When you think of Anthony Davis, right, you think of crazy rim protection and shot contests. To ask him to put the reins on and try to harness that is a tough thing to do. But listen, toughness is a muscle. And you are seeing Anthony Davis strengthen that muscle over the last year or so, right? I don't know how you can't be impressed with how he finished that game, dragging that leg around. And he wasn't out there as a decoy. Be clear. He wasn't out there shooting jump shots and playing soft. He was still finishing in the paint above the rim and playing physical. It really feels like AD has leveled up his toughness. Got to give him credit. Meanwhile, Devin Booker, welcome to the playoffs. I think what you're seeing with Book is he is too preoccupied with trying to read the help defense. He's too concerned with the D. Typical Kardashian trait, so maybe I shouldn't be surprised. I had to take a shot, y'all. You know Book's my guy, but I mean, he's struggling. It is what it is. I'm disappointed in the way he's performing, and I understand they're making it very tough on him. Chris Paul, the Lakers understand how limited he is, so that just means even more focus on Book. I think the next step for Devin Booker is extending that range to the deep three. He shoots the three, right? But he's not very prolific with it. And his range, he doesn't shoot the deep three often. But I think what that does, when you look at the Dames, the Stephs, the Trae Youngs, the guys that shoot it, it's not just for show. It's also to spread and open up the floor, to pull the defense apart. And so I think that will be the next phase for Devin Booker in his offensive arsenal. Second half, LeBron looked like he woke up. He looked like he woke up. And I think part of it was he realized that AD was hurting. And that forced him to be more aggressive. Because let's face it, for the first 10 quarters of this series, you know who he looked like? He looked like a big-ass Lonzo Ball. He was just kind of moving the ball every chance he could and just being like a super role player, just kind of a spectator out there taking the occasional three ball. And so as LeBron woke up in the second half and you saw the Suns let this thing get away, right? You could argue Chris Paul at this point is doing more harm than good. And then there's Jay Crowder, a.k.a. Washed Dylan Brooks. Bro is 2 of 20 from 3 in the series. And yet somehow he's still letting it go like he's Klay Thompson. The shit is crazy. But not only that, Jay decides to poke the bear. Y'all saw it. Y'all saw Andre Drummond acting like the goof that he is on the sideline, and it fired LeBron up, right? And not only that, what you saw, the problem with what happened, because the Lakers got a little out of pocket, right? And it became the LeBron Crowder show there for a few minutes, and it allowed the Suns to climb back in the game from a scoreboard standpoint. But what it also did was it allowed LeBron to kind of get his juices flowing, his confidence going, and he started to look like LeBron. That's the problem with the little ISO sessions on Crowder. And, the one thing that I will say is I think as the game went on, believe it or not, it became a must-win for the Lakers. And I'll tell you why. There was just too many casualties of war. We already talked about AD. dragging that leg around. Schroeder rolls his ankle. KCP leaves the game. He hurts his knee. He's got a knee contusion, whatever that means, right? And so yeah, man, the Lakers, they get the win, but they're leaking oil like an old Cadillac. Late, you saw it get ugly. Booker and Crowder gets ejected. And I say good. That's playoff basketball. And AD is right. Devin Booker broke one of the unwritten rules of basketball. You don't two-hand push a guy in the air. It's one thing to give him a forearm, a shoulder, like you jump with him. When you put two hands on a man that's already elevated, you don't do that. He's right. But I think Devin Booker is very frustrated right now. So, I don't think he's a dirty player. It was a dirty play. So the Lakers gain control of the series. But again, at what cost? It's too early in the playoffs to be leaking oil like this if you're a Laker fan, right? Like, we'll see. We'll see, man.